WWE has made a very crucial mistake by having Rhea Ripley win the Women's Elimination Chamber to go on to face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. And, you know, once I describe myself, once we go through Elimination Chamber, break it down, and end up looking at the bigger picture of WrestleMania 42 and what is to come after the Women's Elimination Chamber, I think it'll finally start clicking in some people's brain why Rhea Ripley just wasn't the right choice at all. And that's starting out. We're just going to break down the Women's Elimination Chamber first, and we're going to get into why it made absolutely no sense to have Rhea Ripley win. But also there's some pros that, you know, obviously Rhea versus Jade is a huge matchup. So we're going to jump into all of it. First things first, we had Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James kick off the Women's Elimination Chamber. And if you watched the Elimination Chamber, you watched the build-up to Elimination Chamber, and you watched and kind of saw on social media the build-up to the Women's Elimination Chamber, everybody had high hopes for Kiana James. That was people's underdog. Obviously, Kiana being Julia's mouthpiece, honestly. But she's been getting a lot more ring time. So people had a lot of faith in Kiana James going into this match. And obviously, starting off with somebody who got snubbed in the Royal Rumble, Tiffany Stratton, returning at number 30. And then obviously getting completely snubbed by getting eliminated by Liv Morgan to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Everybody thought that Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton was like, okay, now we don't have as much faith in Kiana James as we thought. But Kiana actually, like, she was in there for a good while. And actually she eliminated Alexa Bliss, which was the first elimination of the Women's Elimination Chamber. So overall, you know, looking at it, Kiana James, I guess, was kind of a sleeper pick. Nobody in the world thought she was going to win. If you did, you probably didn't watch the build-up. That's the first option. Or two, you just don't know and you saw everybody else saying it, so you're like, okay, I guess I'll just go with it. But nobody in the world thought that Kiana James was winning this match if you actually watched the build-up. We would see also, like pretty soon after that, Raquel Rodriguez absolutely go to work. She would eliminate both Asuka and Kiana James at the exact same time due to a stack pin. That's some Roman Reigns WrestleMania stuff whenever he pinned Daniel Bryan and Edge, or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him. But this right here I thought was really impressive by Raquel Rodriguez. I definitely did not think that Raquel was going to snap like this. Raquel showed out. I think that this was WWE's wake-up call. Now, WWE's been having faith in Raquel Rodriguez, I will say. Because we know they put her in a title match against Valkyrie. And Valkyrie is somebody that they heavily protect. I will say, they heavily protect Stephanie Valkyrie from, obviously, title matches as we've seen. She hasn't had many in her reign. So we all know at WrestleMania that title's getting taken away by Liv Morgan. But one thing that I really thought that we should have done here was kind of make an Elimination Chamber as a Royal Rumble second chance. Now, that's obviously something WWE's never done. But I think that if we could have had, potentially, maybe WWE switch the rules up here. Whoever wins, you get to pick your champion. And then maybe Raquel could have won. It would have definitely made her chances higher, where she could have potentially faced Liv Morgan and Valkyrie, which would be just absolutely humongous. We know Finn Balor's winning out of the Judgment Day, so why wouldn't we pull the trigger on getting Raquel out of there too? Obviously, Raquel needs the Judgment Day more than anybody else, but it would still be cool. But Raquel went absolutely insane, and we would see soon after that, like almost instantly after that, we would see Tiffany Stratton get the pin on Raquel Rodriguez to eliminate Rodriguez from the Women's Elimination Chamber. So her reign got stopped due to Tiffany Stratton. Very, very good. Now, one thing I will give props to WWE for, they knew that Tiffany Stratton was losing, so they were like, hey, let's have Raquel look strong, then let's have Tiffany Stratton look stronger and pin her. Now, I mean, Tiffany did take advantage of the neckbreaker, the insane neckbreaker that Rhea Ripley did to Raquel Rodriguez off of the top of the pod, which I thought was really impressive by Rhea. I definitely did not see that coming. That was like the last thing I expected from Rhea Ripley in that situation. So the fact that Rhea actually committed to that and it looked as good as it did, I was really impressed by. But yes, I was super excited to see how the one-on-one match between Rhea and Tiffany was going to go after Raquel got eliminated, because then it was down to Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton. Rhea and Io losing the tag team championships on Friday Night SmackDown to Lash Legend and Nia Jax was obviously a huge stepping stone to this Women's Elimination Chamber match, and really, you know, it was in the back of my mind. I think that Rhea Ripley was obviously everybody's second pick to win the Elimination Chamber. I know I personally thought that it was going to be Tiffany Stratton just because she got snubbed in the Royal Rumble, but WWE ended up going with a complete blind side, and it kind of took my breath whenever I watched her lose. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we losing faith in Tiffany? Like, what's the reasoning for it? Like, why is Tiffany not getting the rematch she deserves? It's super interesting, you know what I mean? But Rhea would end up pinning Tiffany Stratton and winning the Women's Elimination Chamber. And I'm not okay with that. I'm just going to say it. Y'all know I love Rhea Ripley over here. We're big Rhea Ripley supporters. But it comes down to a point. Tiffany Stratton completely deserved that win. Tiffany Stratton, she was getting hated on in 2025, near the end of 2025, whenever we had that triple threat between Nia, Jade, and Tiffany, where Nia absolutely busted out, like everybody was messed up. Jade got a big old gash on her eyebrow. It was the talk of the town, you know what I mean? Everybody was talking about it. And then we go from making Tiffany disappear off TV after Jade finally beats her for the championship after losing at SummerSlam. Jade finally gets the job done, and then we're like, got it. Let's make Tiffany disappear off TV for months, then have her come back at the Royal Rumble, get snubbed by Liv Morgan, get snubbed by Liv Morgan, get snubbed by Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day, in a faction, to be able to face the person that her best friend and Raquel Rodriguez has been facing over the past few months, instead of pulling the trigger on Tiffany Stratton and having Tiffany go and get her title back, which is perfect storytelling. Even though people's going to hate on it because people don't like Jade Cargill, it is what it is. Suck it up, Buttercup. We all know the SummerSlam match between Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton was one of the best on the card. So nobody's going to deny that. That was the second best match on the SummerSlam card, and nobody's going to say anything about it because you know it's true. And if you say, hey, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill at SummerSlam last year was not absolutely great, and it was not the best match we've seen Jade Cargill have in WWE so far, you were absolutely tripping. You were tripping on your own shoelaces every time you say that. It gets to a point. And WWE pulling the trigger on Rhea Ripley and absolutely snubbing Tiffany Stratton 2 times in 2026 so far is absolutely ridiculous. First, you have her go to the Royal Rumble. Sorry, Tiffany. Instead of you returning and winning the Royal Rumble and kind of being obvious, but also being the smart option, we're going to go with a complete blindside, have Sol Ruka, Liv Morgan, and Tiffany Stratton be the top 3, and then say, hey, let's have her eliminate Tiffany. Let's just completely abuse the fact that Tiffany Stratton just came back and have her lose at the Chamber 2. Have her go on a complete losing streak, and a losing streak that is on the 2 biggest shows of the year. Tell me how smart that is. I have no question for it. That isn't smart. That's a dumb choice by WWE. But Rhea Ripley wins the Elimination Chamber 2 days ago, as the time you're seeing this video. But it happened yet last night for me, and it's just ridiculous. The fact that we're going to have to see Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania is something that I'm just not okay with. And you're probably sitting there like, so I'm clicking off this video right now because he don't want Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. No, I don't. I would love to see the match. 2 absolute powerhouses, 2 of the best women's wrestlers in the world going against each other. But these are not the best 2 wrestlers in the world on the microphone. We're not going to be seeing a John Cena and CM Punk masterclass on the microphone. We're going to be seeing these 2 girls talk on the microphone, and it's just going to be horrible. And now, shut me up. Rhea and Jade, if you ever see this, before y'all get to going, shut me up, please. Make us have some good promos, because I'm not looking forward to any of the promos we're going to be having. And it's going to be happening soon. Jade's going to interrupt Rhea on SmackDown. We're going to get that whole thing. We're going to dive into it. Io's going to be stuck by herself on Monday Night Raw or third wheeling on Friday Night SmackDown. We're going to throw Io under the bus, 1. We're going to have Tiffany look like an absolute snub after coming back. And 3, we're going to have absolutely horrible promos on the lead up to WrestleMania in a great women's match. And what they're going to say after WrestleMania, they're going to say, the match made up for it. No, it didn't. If you are a pro wrestling connoisseur and you look at everything that goes on week in and week out, you're going to look at these promos and you're going to say, man, that was really trash, but the match was good. You know, kudos to them on the match. But then whenever it comes to the mic work, Rhea is going to carry. And I'm not saying Jade is just absolutely trash on the mic. I'm just saying that them 2 together is not going to be a good combination. And it's just, yeah. y'all let me know the opinions down below on how y'all feel about that. I just can't see it working out. There's just no shot. But, you know, prove me wrong, because I would love to be proven wrong. But I just think it's going to be absolutely horrible. And the choice that they went with Rhea Ripley winning the Women's Elimination Chamber, I think, is absolutely criminal to Tiffany Stratton. I think she needs an apology ASAP. I need somebody from WWE to pull her aside and be like, hey, we have to get you in somewhere. Because if Tiffany Stratton does not have a match at WrestleMania 42, there's going to be serious problems within WWE. You're having your top 5 best women's superstar in WWE return at the Royal Rumble after months of being away, to a huge pop at the Royal Rumble, by the way, in Saudi. Which, you know, there's not a lot of huge pops in Saudi, let's keep it honest, folks. So, you're coming off to a huge pop at the Rumble, and you're like, hey, got it. So, huge pop at the Rumble, just testing how it works. So, Triple H, you're sitting in this meeting room, right? Oh, yeah, let's bring back Tiffany Stratton, have her lose to Liv Morgan in the top 2. And then, you know, Elimination Chamber comes around, let's have her lose that too. What process comes through here? And this is exactly why you have completely doxed yourself in releasing Season 2 of Unreal and Season 1. Because then, the fan eyes get into the meeting rooms and realize that y'all are absolutely throwing away everything we could have that's good. And you're just throwing away, yeah, we could use that, but man, that's too repetitive. Everything y'all are saying that's repetitive or boring is great for the fans, but then the stuff that is just completely obvious, y'all are like, hey, but now, listen, this is what I think's insane, because I could completely see AI building this whole Elimination Chamber, and I think that WWE is just trying to be too niche. WWE is trying to be too unique. That's what it's trying to be. They've thrown us 2 curveballs in the past 2 months. The Royal Rumble, they've thrown us Liv Morgan, which, you know, some people predicted here and there. Then we get to Elimination Chamber. Tiffany Stratton got snubbed at number 2 against Liv Morgan in the top 2 of the Royal Rumble. So we're like, hey, Tiffany's going to get it back. We're going to go see Jade and Tiffany. Tiffany's going to reclaim that championship. But no. WWE says, hey, let's have Rhea Ripley win, absolute blindside from the side. Let's have Jade and Rhea have promos on the build-up to WrestleMania. Let's have EO either third wheel on Friday Night SmackDown during these promos or be on Monday Night Raw absolutely lost fighting the Kabuki Warriors. Rhea's not going to be on both brands. And if she is, that's just even more stupid. I should probably close out this video now before I completely, you know, just go outrageous, but I think I've already have. Y'all know down below how y'all feel about Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 42 in April. I think it's criminal that what WWE has just done to Tiffany Stratton. I think that it is not deserved. I don't know what she's done to deserve a punishment like this. And I'm going to say punishment because this business is like you're going to get rewarded for your hard work. Tiffany Stratton is a former champion. I get you're wanting to try something new, bro, but Rhea Ripley was like, I mean, yes, she hasn't held the World Championship in a good minute, but instead you're going to make us suffer with Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley promos till WrestleMania 42 on Friday Night SmackDown, and then a match is you're thinking that this powerhouse match between the two is just going to cover up everything you've done over the past 3 months in the build-up. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Y'all let me know down below what y'all think. I think it's absolutely criminal, like I've said before. But, yeah, I just think it should have been Tiffany Stratton's Royal Rumble. Obviously, Tiffany Stratton, I think that Liv Morgan beating her at the Royal Rumble was the right decision, you know, looking at it from the bigger picture now, a month out, or a month later. But now we're looking at this Elimination Chamber. I just don't know if this is something that I'm going to be able to recover from, knowing that WWE's just snubbed her for the second time in 2026. Yeah. I think that it's going to be mixed opinions in this comment section, so let me know down below what y'all think, and I will see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces, ooses.